For more on this, Joe Concha is a columnist for The Hill and a Fox News contributor. He joins me now. All right, so Joe, let me ask you, DOJ officials, they are, having ongoing discussions about how to investigate Hunter Biden. So my question to you is, should there be a special counsel appointed?
Well, if you look at the statute, Julie, it appears that that would be the case. A source telling Fox News, quote, "It was passed to deal with the potential conflict of interest of the Attorney General or the President of the United States." Obviously, the President-elect and Joe Biden would have a conflict of interest here. So you got to look at who will be the Attorney General. And if we look back at the Obama-Biden administration, Julie, look at the two Attorney Generals from that era. Eric Holder, who literally said that he was, quote, "still the President's wingman, so I'm going to be there with my boy." That's why he was active Attorney General, so probably not very independent there. And then Loretta Lynch, who obviously met with Bill Clinton in that infamous tarmac meeting in August of 2016 at the height of the Hillary Clinton investigation before that election. So she showed that she wasn't very independent there as well. She said, of course, that she was there to talk about golf and their grandkids. And if you believe that, then you're also looking into beach property in Arizona. So now we look at Joe Biden's possible selections for Attorney General. At the top of his list, according to many reports, is Sally Yates. Who's Sally Yates? As she's shown over the last 4 years, she is a very partisan person in terms of her public comments around the president, and was even chosen to speak at the Democratic National Committee, or convention, excuse me. So is she the person that would act independently of the Oval Office, as Joe Biden is promising moving forward? Probably not. Therefore, that's why we're seeing these discussions around a possible special counsel.
So do you believe then with Sally Yates that there would be bias present?
Yeah, because I go back and I look at her Twitter feed. I look at her comments during impeachment. I watched her speech at the Democratic National Convention. It was overwhelmingly partisan. So therefore, when you hear Joe Biden say that, that the investigation into his son by the FBI is Russian disinformation, which has obviously been disproven because there's an FBI investigation now. It's not about Russia, as it always seems to be. And therefore, if you look at Yates, again, you look back at her conduct and her actions over the last 4 years, she is the last person you would say would be independent.
Okay. All right, I want to move now to the coronavirus stimulus checks. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy is accusing Speaker Nancy Pelosi and other Democrats of, quote, selective hearing. This happened on Wednesday night after President Trump called for Congress to raise the amounts from $600 to $2,000. First, about the amount on that check. Why do you think the president didn't ask for the $2,000 amount sooner?
Well, it seemed that before the election, he was asking for larger amounts. And again, the House is controlled by Democrats. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi seemed to be playing politics with these negotiations in terms of getting Joe Biden over the finish line. And then suddenly, wow, negotiations were all in vogue. I think it's so 2020, Julie, however, that now here you have the president advocating for $2,000 checks. And who is on his side? Nancy Pelosi, the House Speaker, and who are they possibly going up against? Some establishment Republicans who thinks that the $2,000 is too much. But if you look at public polling around this, people see $600 and they say that probably pays for some overdraft fees and one utility bill. Many people feeling that that's just not enough. And this is the populace that we're seeing in President Trump in terms of looking for more money for regular people.
It's quite disconcerting. It's quite pathetic when you actually crunch the numbers. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy is basically saying that Republicans should follow the president's lead, re-examine how our tax dollars are spent overseas, which includes billions of dollars in foreign aid amid a pandemic that has obviously wreaked such havoc on the U.S. for nearly a year. Put the numbers on the screen just so our viewers understand what we're talking about here. At all the money that is being sent to foreign governments included in this broader spending bill that Nancy Pelosi has lumped into helping the American people. You've got $700 million for Sudan, $453 million for Ukraine, $250 million for Israel and Palestine, $86 million for Cambodia, $35 million for Burma, $15 million for Pakistan, and it's included in the $10 million for gender programs. So, when the president calls for more money to go to the American people, it doesn't seem Democrats are listening. Instead, they're looking at how to throw money overseas. I just don't get it.
Don't get it. And remember, Julie, and I'll end it here, 5,593 pages. Lawmakers were asked to read in 6 hours. Tolstoy's War and Peace was 1,300 pages, just to put that in consideration. So people were voting for a bill. They didn't even see what was in it. And I'll end it here. The domestic spending also has to be looked at as well. $1 billion for the Smithsonian. The Kennedy Center getting tens of millions, even though it's not open. This was a train wreck all around, and it was exposed, thankfully. And the president was right to take the lead here and say, enough is enough. That money needs to go into the hands of the American people and not to everywhere else where it doesn't affect, actual COVID relief, Julie.
All right. Joe Concha, great to see you as always, and Merry Christmas. Thank you.